We all know that fighters are sustained damage monsters that can dish it out as well as they can take it. But the Battle Master bucks that trend and focuses more on technique than sheer force of their arm. Hey fellow Game Masters, I'm Richard Quiner and welcome back to the RPG Daily, your daily dose of all things tabletop role-playing games, helping you build your world and master your game. Today we're talking about the Battle Master martial archetype for the fighter class. The one that is we'll say an academic of combat. They study a lot of things and how they can apply to fighting and combat to give them certain tactical advantages on the field of battle. I personally have a fondness for the Battle Master because it is kind of the successor of the Warlord class from 4th edition, which was my very first D&D character. I had a Warlord dwarf. I would tell people to hit things, and then I would tell them to rub some dirt on it every once in a while, and that was just kind of my thing. Today's video is just going to be a brief overview of the Battle Master, as you'll see, and in 2 days we'll have a video out about all the different maneuvers that the Battle Master can use. So this is kind of a two-part thing, similar to last week's Arcane Archer two-part segments. But let's dive into what you get as a Battle Master. First up, at level 3, you gain the feature Student of War, which represents the broader studies of combat and just the broader general studies that Battle Masters take. You gain proficiency in one type of artisan tool. Battle Masters sometimes might become blacksmiths or masons or do any other type of artisan work. This reflects that style for the Battle Master. Next, at level 3, you're going to get Combat Superiority. This is the Battle Master's main bread and butter for this archetype. This gives you the use of superiority dice and maneuvers. Looking at maneuvers just briefly, when you get this 3rd level, you learn 3 different maneuvers, which you will have the opportunity to learn more of them later on. You expend 1 superiority die to use one of your maneuvers. They can be used once per attack, and they give you a variety of enhancements. Some let you have an ally attack a creature, some lets you knock a creature prone, or shove a creature. There's, I think, 23 different maneuvers you can use, but each of them gives you a little enhanced ability in the fight. At levels 7, 10, and 15, you can learn 2 additional maneuvers each level, and at those levels, you can also exchange one of your already known maneuvers for a new one. So if you're not using one very much that you had already, you can swap it out with a different one. Like I said, each maneuver is also powered by a superiority die. You can think of superiority die as a counter, as an expendable resource that the Battle Master gets. When you get this at level 3, you start with 4 superiority die, and those superiority die are D8. That is your starting die. When you use a maneuver, you're going to expend one of these superiority die, and it usually counts with rolling that as well and applying that to an attack or some damage or something involved in this. And then that superiority die is spent. At a short or a long rest, you regain all the expended uses of your superiority dice. At level 7 and 15, you gain an additional superiority die. Sometimes a maneuver may require your opponent to make a saving throw of some type. When this is the case, the save difficulty challenge, or DC, is going to be 8 plus your proficiency plus either your strength modifier or your dexterity modifier. It is your choice as the fighter. At level 7, you get Know Your Enemy. This is a more out-of-combat kind of technique you can use. This lets you size up your opponent while you're talking to them, interacting. If you spend 1 minute interacting with a creature outside of combat, you can then ask the DM to give you information on 2 different attributes. The DM can tell you if the target creature is inferior, equal, or superior to your character in these different areas. First up is strength, con, or dexterity. You can ask them if they are superior, inferior, or equal in either of those. You can also ask them about their hit points or armor class, and you can learn about their levels, either their fighter levels or their total class levels if they have any levels. Are they a higher class than you? Are they a lower class level than you? Do they have a higher armor class than you, a lower armor class than you? Are they the same armor class as you? Taking this a minute outside of combat to know your enemy can really help you in the actual combat. At level 10, you get Improved Combat Superiority, which all this does is increase the die that you will use for your maneuvers. Your superiority die increases at this level to a D10, and at level 18, they increase even more to a D12. At level 15, you get the ability Relentless, which basically means you will never be caught without a superiority die available to you. If you have no superiority die left in your pool and you roll initiative, you regain 1 superiority die to use in that combat. This is similar to the Arcane Archer. It has a very similar ability to this one from that archetype as well. The Battle Master is a really interesting archetype for the fighter because while it can deal out damage, it has so much more versatility and usability in controlling the battlefield. Moving enemies from one place to another, having opponents take attacks in place of yours. These kind of things really makes the Battle Master stand out among their peers. Even in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, they listed several, quote, builds, different maneuvers you could take as a Battle Master that played into a certain playstyle. And this is that way where if you want to have a fighter that is more than just hit them, get hit, hit them, get hit, kind of trading back and forth hits, the Battle Master is the way to go as you become the controller and a support kind of character for your party. I enjoy the Battle Master. I think it's a neat one. If you looked at the Warlord from 4th edition, it had a lot of similar abilities, once per encounter, once per day kind of abilities, as this Battle Master has. Let me know your thoughts of this archetype, and come back in 2 days as we go through all the maneuvers. That one is a long video, so be ready for that. If you like the videos here and want to support the channel, I do appreciate you hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. If you want to come chat D&D with other like-minded nerds, come join us on Discord. The link's in the description. And if you want to get your hands on some really cool minis from a lot of different artists on Patreon, come check out my Etsy store. You buy miniatures, I 3D print them up and ship them to you, and it all goes to help support the channel and keep these things going. I've been Richard. Thanks for watching.